Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Air Force Academy with the Zebu Nation, a football manager story, where today we bring to you the recap of the 2021 spring season for NCAA men's soccer. It's an interesting thing to talk about the spring season because it's kind of a non-competition. There's no standings or anything to look at, but we do, of course, have the top 25 to look at, so we will take a look at that in the season preview, the media predictions. It's been a little bit of an upheaval in the top 25 this season, especially compared to last season. We've got UConn at number 1 this season, followed by Ohio State, UCLA, College of Charleston. They were a surprise at the end of last season. And then Cleveland State rounds out the top 5. Our old nemesis, Houston Baptist, comes in at 6th. Some other teams to take note of: Navy, one of our rivals, one of our rival academies, coming in 8th place. Notre Dame in 10th. Indiana all the way down here at 17th. But as you'll notice, no Air Force Academy. And that's because we are quite far down on the list. Here we are in 80th place, 150 to 1 odds. That is not good, especially compared to last season where we were in the top 25 pretty much all season long until the very end, where we kind of slipped a little bit and we missed the NCAA tournament. But starting out at 80th place, we got a long way to climb. Now, honestly, when the season first started, we were in 99th place. So we have made some progress up the charts. We've moved up 19 positions, but still a long way to go. And that's going to be one of our goals this year, is going to be to get back into that top 25. Of course, in order to accomplish that, we're going to need to get back into the NCAA tournament, which is another one of our goals. So all of our goals are aligning this year, and we need to get back up here. So that's pretty much what we can look at. The preseason Dream 11, we ended up with only one player on the list, Billy Davis, our center back. They've got him listed at left back for whatever reason. I mean, I guess he can play like all 4 positions, but we kind of play him at right center back because that's his most comfortable position. So it's weird that he makes the left back of the Dream 11. In terms of key players, they're saying Davis and Hundley, the midfielder, are our key players. We'll see about that. Board for the spring season, even though it's, like I said, it's a non-competition, it's essentially just there, as I've mentioned in previous videos, it's kind of just a new thing. The Commandant does want us to finish in the top 2 places, which I don't know how to tell that, but the good news is he is pleased, and according to the board, the team is currently on course to finish in the top 1 places this season. So I guess we're first place in the spring season, even though if you go to competitions, there's no real, there's no competitions. As you can see, everybody currently has 0 wins, draws, and losses because they don't really count the spring season as anything. They just sort of count it, as its own thing. So the only thing we can really do is we can look at the schedule, and we can kind of, the spring season, what it's really good for is it's good for obviously getting the players back in shape. But what I discovered about this year's Air Force team is they're not as plug and play as they were last season. Last season we had a very fine senior class. We had like 4 starters, I think, who were seniors last year. So that really helped our team just play with a sort of consistency that we haven't seen this year. And what that means, because we don't have those senior team leaders out there to make plays and to make sure things are going well on the field, it means I've had to do more coaching. I mean, I've had to make more adjustments in game than I did last season, where basically I just started the same formation and the guys just scored goals and we won. This year it started out a little rough. 1-1 draw versus Loyola Chicago. Now, for some reason, I can't click on many of these until we get to the Furman game. So you'll just kind of have to take my word for some of these some of these things I'm talking about here. And that was a bad sign of things to come. We couldn't score more than one goal. It seemed like, like our offense would just bog down, and we would go long stretches of the game with no highlights, no chances, no nothing. So in the second game against Sacramento State, I thought things were going to change, but it still was a very, very tough game. It was 1-1 for a long time. We scored in the 44th minute just before half, so I thought, okay, we're going to cruise in the second half, and we're going to be able to get some goals and pull away. But then Sacramento scored in the 88th minute to tie it up, and then we had to score a golden goal in the 106th minute. So again, a win. Happy about a win, but not really comfortable about how it came out. And same thing with Temple, 0-0. This was just god-awful. Nothing happened for the entire game. It was a home game. We had a good crowd, 934, but just nothing happened. And then we kind of pulled things together. I changed the tactics up a little bit, and we got a 2-0 victory versus Virginia away. That was a good win. Virginia is a solid sports program all the way around, so we got a big win against them. And then, of course, another win against Furman, only 1-0, which I'm not too happy about. But anytime you get a shutout, we were able to control the game pretty well. 18 shots to 6, 61%. We can take a look at the goal so we can break this up a little bit with some highlights. Of course, it's Willis scoring the goals. Here we go. Milanakis is in there at left back. He just sends one, and Willis does the rest. Look at this. He just goes... He's got this new cut inside move that he's been doing, and he just beats all 4 defenders and beats the goalkeeper. That's just Willis being Willis. Now, the thing that maybe we took for granted is how much of an impact Album had on us last year. He had double digits in assists last year, led the nation in assists with, I think, 12 last season. And he made a lot of things go, especially early on in the year. So his production is down a little bit. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But for the most part, we did pretty well. 2 draws and 5 wins in the preseason, right? Let me make sure that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 games in the preseason. So no defeats, but not undefeated, I guess, if we can agree that that's the way that works. Anyway, the best game not the best game, but the most entertaining game we played was against Manhattan. Another golden goal, another 3-2 victory, and this one was interesting because we got up early, 2 goals, Davis and Willis scoring before halftime. And then Manhattan brings it back, scoring and tying it up in the 90th minute, just like that Sacramento game. And then Craig Dern comes off the bench to win it in the 116th minute. We can take a look at all of these goals. But yeah, we sort of, we're up 2-0, got a little bit complacent, and Manhattan was able to come back and tie it up. So that wasn't great. That was a lesson learned right there, that this team is not good enough to get complacent. So here we go. Willis just going right around and through their entire team to score the first goal. I mean, how did this guy not get drafted last year? I don't know. He just doesn't want to go pro maybe. Here's a Coro sending one in for Davis. That's what we want to see more of this year. We want to see getting the ball to Davis on set pieces for sure. And then here's Manhattan coming back. That was the second goal in a row for them because the first goal was called back. And then here we are, 89th minute. We're sort of backed off, and we're letting them control the game. And Gale gets right in front of Davis and scores. So now we've had to go back on the attack, and here we go. Escobedo sending one in. Dorn just, cruising in from the wing, and he scores. I mean, Dern, not Dorn. But yeah, we're learning about this team, and we're learning who's who and who can make big plays. Dern, the 20-year-old, we're thin at left wing. There's no question about it. So this is our guy off the bench. He is not a terrific player, but you know what? He came in and made a game-winning play. He was aggressive on that play. He got the header, even though his heading is only 4. I don't know how he did it. He is 6'1" with 12 jumping reach, so that helps that he's got that physicality. But you know what? I don't know that we can count on this guy to be our playmaker every game. So he's not going to be a starter for us, but right now at left wing, it's really what we've got going. So because of that lack of depth at left wing, we've added a new formation. Don't really start the game with it. We only sort of use it when we're down. I've been using it with the reserves quite a bit, and that is the 4-3-3 attacking, because we do have a plethora of good strikers. So we've been using this formation on and off, especially if we get down in the game. We need to get more aggressive. Now we have a better option than last season. Last season, if you recall, whenever we got down, it was late in the game. We didn't really have any options. There wasn't much we could do other than, take one of our regular formations and maybe go a little bit more attacking or try to press the other team a little bit. Now we've got, some real adjustments we can make going forward. We're practicing this tactic. We're getting to know the tactic. And hopefully when we need to pull it out of our bag of tricks, we can do it and score some goals when necessary. Let's see. What can we look at from these competitions? I think we can look at some stats from the spring season and take a look. Yeah, so most goals, UConn, #1 team in the league with 24 goals in 7 matches. That's pretty good. You can see we're not on the list, but Ohio State is up there. Houston Baptist, again, a lot of firepower this season, so we're going to have to watch out for them come conference time. Notre Dame, 8th with 18 goals. Heading, UC San Diego, UConn is up there. Dixie State, familiar name. We don't really care too much about that other than we're not on the list. Best possession, we are not on the list. Remember, last year we led the nation in possession. This year, not so much. San Francisco's #1 with 61%. Ohio State, Western Michigan, Indiana are all up there. Best tackling, we weren't great tacklers last year, as I seem to recall. We were decent last year. Anyway, Howard, #1 in the league with 97% tackling. That's pretty good. Least concessions were not on the list. West Virginia, #1 with only 3 goals allowed in 7 matches. I think I accidentally clicked on West Virginia there. I did not mean to do that. Most shutouts, interestingly, Air Force tied for 3rd place with 5 other teams with 4 shutouts in 7 games. So that's something new. That is definitely better. So you can say that we're a little bit more solid defensively this year. With 4 shutouts in 7 games, that's something we couldn't do last year. Last year we gave up a goal in just about every game. So, that's a positive sign. That's definitely a positive sign. Fouls were not on the list, so that's fine. Incarnate Word is up there. We got to watch out for that. That's a team we're going to be playing later in the year. Gonzaga, we might see them in the West this year. Best passing accuracy. Last year, again, we were very good with our passing accuracy. This year, we're continuing the accuracy. We're just not getting the possession. So hopefully we can combine those two this year during the fall season and improve our possession, because our passing is still very good, 80%. Indiana, #1. Western Michigan is up there. Let's see, crossing, Princeton, 33%. Navy is up there. We're not on the list. We don't really send a lot of crosses in. We try to work the ball into the box mostly, especially now we don't have a target man. We've got the false 9 in there, so we really would prefer to work the ball in the box rather than sending crosses. And then shooting accuracy, we're still not very accurate. Still sort of more of a volume shooting team, I would say. So stats-wise, we don't have a lot to go on in terms of team stats. There's just not a lot there, other than that, our passing is still good and our shutouts have improved. So that's good. Player overview. I don't know that we have many players on the player list, but I didn't really check, honestly. Luke Singh from George Mason, top goal scorer. You can see our dude Willis is not on this list. He has dropped off significantly from where he was at this point last year. Most assists, again, last year. We had Album. Album was really pushing things for us last year. We really were able to run the offense through him this year. We don't have a guy like that, at least not a senior leader like him, and so we got nobody on the list. Most distance, again, we had a senior last year who was on this list. Nobody this year. Key tackles, nope, no tacklers up there. Least concessions, goalkeeper is not on there because even though we got 4 shutouts, there were some games where we gave up multiple goals. Most shutouts, our guy is probably tied with all of these people at 4. We just didn't make the list for alphabetical reasons, I would assume. Most because we've only played the one goalkeeper. We're not, we got no options at goalkeeper. We got one guy, and that is it. Most tackles, again, nobody on the list. That's not surprising. Most dribbles, nobody on the list. That is not surprising. Escobedo from Indiana is up there. There we go. Most key passes. This is interesting. We are a good passing team, so it's not surprising we have a guy on this list, but it is Ken Hundley. Number 1 in the nation for key passes, the midfielder. He's up to 3.5 stars this year, so he is improving. The 19-year-old, he's got the technique for it. His passing could be a little better. His vision is decent, but he's making it work. He's not a great player yet, but he is, he's performing well. So that's what we want. Let's see, anything else? Nope, nothing else. Best at hitting the target. We obviously don't have anybody on this list. We can take a look at our individual boys here. Take a look at the stats. I don't know, competitions. I don't know how it works. Is it league? I guess it's league. There we go. 7 appearances. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So you can see we've had a few guys start every game. Vargas, Willis, Lopez, the goalkeeper. Obviously, there's Hundley, Billy Davis. So our top guys have started every game. McDay started 6, came in for a 7th. Okoro has started 6. I'm not sure why he didn't start that 7th. I don't know why he didn't start the 7th game. Milanakis has been in and out. Garza, in and out. Shepard, Norris. Steve Norris. Okay, yeah, Steve Norris, the left back. He's been a guy we've been looking to get in there because he's so talented as a freshman. We've been looking for places to play him. He can play center back. He can play left back. He is only 5'11", but he does have 15 jumping reach, so he can kind of, do the deal defensively. He also has 14 tackling, but he is just a freshman, and we do have a senior co-captain in his position, but I don't know. If you look at ratings, Milanakis is at a 6.8, Norris is at a 7.15. So I think we might have to move Norris up into the starting position for the fall season and get him a jump on next year and let Milanakis come off the bench. Even though he's the assistant captain, I think we have to look for the betterment of the program. And right now, Milanakis isn't going to get much better than what he is right now. He's 21 years old. He didn't radically improve during the spring season, which is what I was looking for to see. Like, okay, if he jumped up to like 2.5 stars during the spring season and got a lot better, then okay, we'd play him in the fall. But that's kind of the opposite because Norris has been getting a lot better with just limited amounts of playing time. So if we throw him in there full time in the fall, he might be one of our top players, especially going into next season. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer that we're going to be playing Steve Norris as our starter in the fall. So it's that kind of stuff that we've been able to learn during the summer season, and definitely the kind of things that we've been looking for. Now, goals. Haven't scored quite as many goals as we did last year. We blew through the summer season. last year. This year, not quite as many goals. Willis, of course, still our leading goal scorer with only 3 in 7 games, followed by Billy Davis, the central defender. I said we're going to be targeting him more on the set pieces, and we did exactly that this spring season. He's got 3 goals. Okoro has played pretty well. He's no Tucker Album, but you know what? He did his job. He was able to facilitate a little bit up there. He got 2 goals, 4 assists, a good rating. So Okoro has been doing fine as that false 9. Steve Norris, as we looked at before, he's another one of our top-rated guys, but he does have a goal and an assist and 2 chances created, 77% passing. 60.64 tackles isn't great for a fullback, especially when you compare to Milanakis, who's sitting there at 2.43 tackles. So we might give up a little bit of defense for offense when we're talking about that switch, Milanakis for Norris. But, with Milanakis coming off the bench, if we score early, we can bring him off the bench as the defensive option, which I'm okay with that. That's fine. Let's see, assists. Really, the only guy who stands out is Okoro. Day has an assist. Norris, Milanakis, Escobedo. Everybody sort of got in there with 1 assist, but Okoro has been the guy we sort of run the offense through a little bit. Chances created. Hunley with 8 chances created, the right midfielder. Vargas with 4, Garza with 4. So our midfield has been doing well, creating some chances. They just haven't broken through. There's no goals from those midfielders. Passing percentages, obviously we're going to have good passing percentage because we are a very good team. Look at that, Graham Shepard on the right. 91% passing from his fullback position. A lot of those, of course, are short passes, but what are you going to do? Tackling, Garza in the midfield. He's the guy. He's our... I don't know what it is about him. It's that speed, I guess. I didn't think he'd be a great defensive option. He only has 4 tackling. It's not that he's tremendously aggressive. He only has 12 aggression, but he's out there tackling his little heart out. So you got to give it to him. Rock, another young fullback that we're thinking about playing more games. Look at him. He's improving. He's played well when he's in there. He's only got one time off the bench. The right back position is kind of held down right now by Shepard. Even though his rating's not perfect. It is a 6.76. But, I don't know. This is another decision. Do we go youth for experience? Because Shepard, he is at 2.5 stars. He does have potential to get better. He's a great decision maker. He knows where he's supposed to be on defense. It's one of those things that you have to worry about as a college coach. Do I go with stability or potential? It's always the question. So the fall season, we're definitely going to see Rock playing more than we did in the spring. That's kind of an oversight on my part. See Danny Hunter with some tackles. Dern in there making some tackles. So had some interesting guys out there playing well. Then we'll go to ratings, I guess. Davis, number 1. Hunley. Kudimbana, he's kind of solidified himself at that left center back position. He played well. He only had 3 starts, but we're like, you know what? Let's put him in there and see how he plays. And he played great from the very first time we put him in there. So he has beat out a couple of other guys to be the dude at left center back. Mario Henriquez coming off the bench also played pretty well in central defense. So, we've got some options at central defense. We know Henriquez is probably going to be gone for a significant amount of time for the under-20s World Cup, something like that. There's some kind of under-20 tournament that's going on this year. So he's probably going to be gone for a few weeks, and so Kudimbana kind of gets the position. But anyway, Okoro's there. Norris, another youngster, another left back. He played well. We looked at him earlier. Willis, of course. Vargas. Willis, his rating is good, but it's down from last year. Vargas played well. Thomas, and then Dern. right? Yeah, Dern 6.9. I thought he had the 7. But Robbie Thomas is our last 7, or our last green boy. Backup striker. Yeah, he's come in a couple of times. And you know what? He's just big, and he can jump, and he just stands in front of goal, and he does some interesting stuff. He hasn't scored any goals in a real game, but he was scoring goals like crazy in our friendlies. So he's had fun this season. 1 start, 3 appearances off the bench, and he's played pretty well. Let's see. Is there anything else we really need to look at for this episode? I don't think so. Our schedule coming up. We've got the fall season coming up. It's a little bit of a different schedule from last year. We do have a lot of the same names. I think we might have all of the same names in our region, but we play a few different teams this year because we don't play everyone in our region. In fact, a lot of these guys aren't in our region. Anyway, team that I recognize from last year is Nebraska Omaha. We'll play them. IUPUI, UC Davis, Rhode Island, Virginia again. We'll see how that does. SUI, Edwardsville, Providence. So we got an interesting schedule. Yeah, that's a way different schedule from last year. We can actually look, I guess. That would be good, right? Last year I remember playing some more Western teams. Yeah, there we go. Last year we had UC San Diego, Cal Rider, Michigan, West Virginia, UConn. So yeah, we had, maybe some more recognizable names last year. So it might be a little bit of an easier non-conference schedule. IUPUI, that's always fun to play these IU teams. Indiana University, Purdue University of Indianapolis. And then there's another one, IUPFW, IU. Anyway, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne is the other team. It gets a little weird down there in Indiana. Anyway, thankfully we're only playing one of those guys. We're not playing both of them. But yeah, so the non-conference in the fall season, I think we'll be okay, except for Virginia. That's going to be a good test for us. One of the top teams in the league, or in the nation this year. So we'll see how we stack up against them. And then, of course, after that, we've got the Western Athletic, where we play the other 10 teams. There's no questions there. That's easy. 11 teams in the conference. You play 10 of them. No problems. All right, so there we go. That's what we're going to have going forward for next video, is we're going to play the non-conference and see how we do. And then our final video next week will be the WAC. And we'll see how that goes. All right, so this is, basically the countdown to FM21. We're going to be going through this season as fast as we can. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.